Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's a beautiful October day here in the Finger Lakes. This is the dog wearing a nice cap today, and I'll get to that in just a second. Hey, we're talking, Jimmy, 80s the next couple of days, so I'm sure Jimmy will get his clubs out sometime in the next couple of days, talking 80s, and then by the end of the week, 50s. Is it any wonder why we get sick in this world? I'm going to be beating up Dino Babers and the Syracuse Orangemen because you know what, folks? I'm not a Syracuse lover. Jimmy is a graduate from there. But you know what, folks? There are some games in this world of college football that you have to win. Saturday's game against Pittsburgh, they had to beat those clowns. They did not. I'm revved up today. Welcome to Weber This Week. Well, a very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. The sun is shining. It is a beautiful October day. And as I mentioned a couple of seconds ago, we're talking 80s the next couple of days. So looking forward, along with Jimmy Senacropi, we're going to hash on some sports. But I'm not in a good mood because I'm upset because I've never been a big Syracuse. I respect their basketball program because they obviously can recruit from around the world and people want to play in the Dome for Syracuse and Bayham. I get all that. And I'm old enough to remember the days of Syracuse pride in football, and they were a contender, and they were in the hunt. And as Jim pointed out, they beat Nebraska #1 at the Dome. They should have beat Clemson 2 years in a row. They found a way to lose that game, heartbreaking city. But, I was working Saturday and we were going out, me and Mary, somewhere, and I can't remember, but exactly what I thought of. I always look at the odds, the line in Las Vegas for college games. I have it on my phone, Las Vegas odds. I'm always curious what the odds are. Well, for you folks that may not know, I realize the jinx of Syracuse against Pitt. I get the fact, 14 out of the last 16 meetings, Pitt has won. Mostly close games. Some have been routs. I get that. But you know what? I look at the line, and I was looking at the line, and Syracuse this is at Pittsburgh, anywhere from a 4 to a 6.5 point favorite. Now, the way that equates in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas takes billions of dollars of action around the world. They don't put these lines out for their looks, and I realize their lines sometimes are not right, and people are going to upset other teams. I get all that. But what I'm trying to point out to you before I get into my rant and raving about SU and Babers, who I've never liked as a coach there, I call him the cheerleader, is the fact that if they're playing at the Dome against Pittsburgh on Saturday, they would have been a 7.5 to 10 point favorite because you always get 3 points more at home. So that 4.5 at Pitt would have been 7.5 at the Dome. And some of the lines were 6.5. So I watched part of the game, and I didn't catch the first part. And I see Syracuse up 14-0. I was checking out my college scores as the day went on. And I realized Syracuse is going to win this game. I knew about the jinx of Pittsburgh. But let me explain something, folks. I'm going to spend a few minutes today because I'm not in a good mood of the way Syracuse can figure a way to lose certain games that just drive me insane. And I'm not a graduate like Jimmy is. And I'm not a loyal SU fan like Jim is. Let's talk about Pittsburgh, what they've done so far this year in football. They opened up against Albany, great pharmaceutical school. Not a good football team. Not against Pitt. Pitt blows them away, 33-7. Yay! Then Pitt plays Penn State. Penn State, a fine program. They might be considered a powerhouse with a small p. They beat Pitt 51-6. Then Pitt beats Georgia Tech, which is a terrible team in the ACC. I think Jim would agree with me. They're not a good team. All right? Georgia Tech loses to Pitt 24-19. Only by 5. Then they play UNC, University of North Carolina. Not a phenomenal basketball program. Nobody can deny that year in and year out. But not a great football team this year. UNC beats Pittsburgh 38-35. Then Pittsburgh plays UCF, which is a fine program. They got that program rolling, their top 10 material. UCF does what is expected. They won 45-14 against Pitt. As I mentioned before, in comes Syracuse. Syracuse should have beat Clemson 2 years in a row, this phenomenal program they have at Clemson. As I mentioned earlier, the line is anywhere from 4.5 to 7.5 in Pittsburgh. Syracuse jumps out early, 14-0. Jim points out to me, because I didn't see the third quarter, they were up, what, Jim, 10 in the third quarter or 7 or 8, 10, something like that?
They were up 10 points in the third quarter.
Then in the fourth quarter, they're up 7. All right. Somehow, some way, Pittsburgh ties the game with the waning seconds of the game, goes to OT. Pittsburgh goes down and scores a touchdown. Now, Pittsburgh goes down, scores a touchdown, takes the lead, but Syracuse gets the ball and tries to match that 7 points. And then Dungy throws in really not a good move. He gets hard hit in the backfield. He probably threw it. It was not a very good pass. Interception, game over. Folks, I'm trying to explain to you, Stu, without really taking this microphone and throwing it through the window. You can't lose the Pit this year. With Dungy now, his last year at Syracuse, you got a 4-1 record. You should be 5-1. Let's look at their next several games. I'm not saying they're not going to make a bowl game. You only need 6 games to get into a bowl. Now, if you want to play a bowl game, you don't want to go play at Yankee Stadium. And I love Yankee Stadium. It's going to be rocking tonight in a couple hours when they take on the hatred Red Sox. But let's talk about what Syracuse is now, 4-2. They got the week off. Then they take UNC on. They should win that game, because UNC is not a very good team at home. They should win that game. Then after that game, they take on North Carolina State, who, Jimmy, is a good program, and they're playing good football.
That'd be a tough one, yeah.
That'd be a tough one. So that could go either way. Let's say Syracuse, for whatever reason, may lose that game, and I don't think they will, but let's say they do. So that makes them 4-2. They beat UNC 5-2. Let's say they lose to Carolina State. That's 5-3. They go on the road to Wake Forest. Jim and me and 9 other people, including his wife, could beat Wake Forest.
Well, Wake Forest, what? They gave Notre Dame a tough game,
yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah, a little bit. But I don't see Syracuse. Wake Forest is pretty poor. Then they got Louisville at home. Louisville's not a good program this year. Right, Jim? Not good at all.
No,
not good.
That's probably their easiest game they have left.
Then they go to Yankee Stadium. Is that where they Notre Dame? All right.
Yankee
Notre
Stadium.
Dame is a top 5 program right now. They're playing great. They blew out Virginia Tech, and Virginia Tech can scare a lot of teams at home. And I realize Virginia Tech doesn't have the material they used to have, but that's still a tough place to go into. And Notre Dame blows them out.
We can beat them. We can beat Notre Dame.
All right. But Notre Dame blows out Virginia Tech, which impressed me because I thought the game would be 13-10. But they took over in the second half and kind of rolled. And then they go to Boston College. And, you know, Jim, Boston College seems to give Syracuse fits sometimes.
Yeah.
My point is, Syracuse is looking at maybe 7 to potentially 9 wins. You got to get up in the 8-9 to get a decent bowl. You don't want to go up and play the Pinstripe Bowl when it's 20 below zero and the wind's blowing 30 and you're freezing your buns off at the stadium trying to watch a bowl game. My point is, they are not taking advantage of games you have to win. And at Syracuse, in my mind, with Babers, and I know he's been 4-8 the last 2 years, which I've been picking on him, but you can't lose to a game where you got to win, and you should win 98 times out of 100. Now, it's just my luck to come in here and rant and rave about Babers and Syracuse not beating Pittsburgh is the fact that the defense was they were taking a siesta. They were going away or somewhere. I don't know where they were going. But I didn't watch all the game. I did see part of it. The Pitt running backs were running up and down the field against the Orange defense. The difference between Babers and his coaching strategy, and let's take Oklahoma. Let's look at Oklahoma, a major powerhouse most every year. They got a defensive coordinator named Mike Stoops. The name familiar in the college football world? He was the defensive coordinator. Notice I said he was. They lose to Texas in Austin over the weekend, 48-45. Do you know what the Oklahoma head coach does and the athletic director does? They fired him Saturday night. Goodbye. That's it. Means major college football. The defensive coordinator got his job axed because his team gave up, Jimmy, 48 points to Texas. Dino, what about your defensive coordinator? Is he still got enough payroll down there making $800,000 a year or whatever he's getting paid? I mean, come on. You know, excuse me, I don't want to see people get fired. But we're talking college football. We're talking Syracuse trying to get up in the heavyweights category, not be a mediocre football team. And they lose Dungy after this year, so God only knows what they're going to be doing at QB. My point is
DeVito.
Okay, DeVito.
They're set.
All right,
Babers has set up a nice program.
All right, yes? Okay, good. I'm just saying, Jim, you cannot continue to be a fan of Syracuse and know that they find a way to lose games where they're supposed to win them. And that Pittsburgh game, you got to win that game. There's no excuses. And I don't care about winning 14 out of the last 16. Because you look at the programs, Syracuse is much better on paper and much better on the field than Pittsburgh is. I mean, come on. Pittsburgh only beats Georgia Tech, a terrible team, by a score of 24-19. So anyways, my belief on Babers is still the same. Jimmy, you still like him, and I hope you're right about him.
I love him.
Are they good? Good.
They beat Clemson last year. They beat Virginia Tech. I mean, he's got excitement. More people are coming out to the Dome.
How excited are they at the losing a pit?
He's recruiting. Well, that's the way life goes. You lose some, you win some. I mean, how did Florida State feel getting their butt kicked by us in the Dome?
Yeah, Florida State's not a good program this year. You know that. They're not a good team right now. They're not. They had a big lead against, Miami the other night and gave it all back. I mean, I just don't think Babers brings it to the table week in and week out. And all he says in post-game analysis is, "Oh, give credit to the other team. They had one or two extra plays than we did. We're going to have everybody over the house tonight for a hot dog roast. We're going to say a few prayers."
Everybody needed to tackle better.
Yeah, I think so.
Defense needed to tackle. He wasn't out there making the tackles.
I know.
There's so many close spots on third down and fourth down. There were, if they just wrapped them up a little sooner.
All right. But, Jimmy, coming up Saturday morning when you woke up having breakfast with your beautiful wife, did you ever think in your wildest dreams that Syracuse would lose to Pitt on Saturday? Really?
I knew it was a big game. I didn't think it was a guaranteed by any means, but I knew it was a big game. It was a type of game that could have propelled Syracuse in the top 25. Bingo. I watched the game. It was a great game. And in the end, they didn't win in overtime, and it was devastating. It was that loss hurt a lot more than the Clemson loss, because we could have beat Clemson too in Death Valley.
I agree with you. I agree. So anyways, my philosophy on Babers, Jimmy loves him. I can't stand the guy. I think he's misplaced there. We'll see what happens. Right now, the record proves that I'm right, 4-8. And I'll make a bowl game. You got 4 wins. You're going to get at least 6. That's the margin you got to get in the college world. We'll see what happens. I can't believe they're not going to get 6. If they don't get 6, Jimmy, I'm sure they'll give Dino Babers another raise. Hey, by the way, folks, I want to send out a message to my good friend. I'm wearing the hat today, to my buddy. That's over at the Nice and Easy. And that's a small Nice and Easy there on Fall Street. I always go there every morning. A lot of days I have coffee and chew the fat with the folks in there. And they just got a nice group over there. And I wanted to send to my buddy Eddie. And that, of course, is Eddie Feek, who is the manager. And I have nothing against the bigger Nice and Easy, but I always go to the small one for whatever reason. They got a great team over there, and they're always very hospitable. Miranda's great. McCall's great. Mary, and, of course, Gretchen, who I pick on when I'm over there. I just wanted to send out a salute to that Nice and Easy store where I'm giving you credit today. It's a great hat. And I want to tell you that Eddie, the manager, is really, he might be small in stature with his height, but he's tall, Jimmy, in generosity, because last week I had come out of my car and I was very thirsty, and I asked Eddie if I could get a glass of ice water, and he brought me a glass of water, Jimmy, without the ice. I mean, that's pretty touching. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. He's very. I asked him for a free pastry one day because I didn't have my wallet with me, and he brought me a pastry that he had in the store for 3.5 weeks. So, I mean, that's the kind of guy Eddie is. So, Eddie, if you're checking me out today, I have to send out a salute to you and your great team. And again, that is Miranda, McCalla, Mary, and Gretchen. And by the way, Chad Lar, check out the I Love FLX. And I like the one he's got going today, this month, for Cancer Awareness Month, which obviously is in October. So I ranted and raved about Babers. We're going to get to the basics and talk about baseball, baby. We're going to talk about a couple of their topics. This is Weber This Week as I rant and rave about poor Dino. Resort and Casino has something for everyone. 2,000 slot machines and 99 gaming tables. The Vine, featuring top national music and comedy acts. The dining options. The Great Portico by Fabio Viviani. The Farmers Market Buffet, the Social Cafe and Bar. And the 14,000 square foot European-style spa. Del Lago offers massages, body treatments, and facials plus a full-service salon. Visit DelLagoResort.com for more information.
Cayuga Lake National Bank, offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country, fresh, home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. The Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes is a child-friendly location where allegations of physical or sexual abuse are responded to by a multidisciplinary team of professionals. The team works together to conduct a thorough investigation and to provide necessary support services to children and their non-offending caregivers with a goal of minimizing further trauma to a child. Seneca Metals is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at newarkpilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the dog with you. Now, I think I took my aspirin, so I'm a little calmer now after ranting and raving about Babers and the fact they lost to Pittsburgh on weekend. But don't worry, the rants will come back in the next few weeks. Don't worry. I'm getting psyched up as we get closer to winter. Hey, by the way, speaking of the events at Seneca Metals, I always like to plug them because they do a lot for the area as far as bringing people in for different types of fun events. They got a hibernation hullabaloo. Meet our touchable turtles and their reptilian friends and find out the crazy things they do to survive the winter. Maybe you, me, and Jim should figure that out as well. It's at the Seneca Metals Educational Center. That's at 1977 State Route 414 in Seneca Falls. It's coming up a week from this Thursday, October 18th. A week from Thursday, October the 18th, between 6:30 and 7:30. It's a free program, and of course, it is a family program from our friends at Seneca Metals. Hey, by the way, Jimmy, throw up that thing on the old Yankees. We'll talk a little Yankee baseball. Of course, I know Mary and myself are getting excited. She's a big fan, and I know many of our viewers are big fans of the Yankee organization, and I'm sure there are just as many probably that are excited about the Red Sox. Well, tonight, you know what? Can't get any better baseball than that. It's going to be nice weather there in New York tonight. They're back at the stadium. They pulled out a great second-game win against the Red Sox in Boston, led by Sanchez, and looks like Jimmy Sanchez and Judgy. All Rise are warming up at the right time. Whether or not they got Severino going today.
Tonight, yeah.
Yep, they got him going. Severino going today.
They're favored to win tonight.
Yep. Then they also got.
It's a 3-game series
right,
now, and New
exactly.
York has a home field.
Yep.
They got 2 games in New
exactly.
York.
Sabathia tomorrow night, they're going to start him. Team seems to be playing a lot better. Looks like Hicks will be ready to go tonight. He came up with a little issue with his leg the other night, but it looks like he'll be a go.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, he's starting to.
This Yankee team, I mean.
Yep.
The Red Sox may have won 108 games, but
yep.
remember, the Yankees have been without Judge for the last month and a half of the season.
I agree. And look at how long in Sanchez. He batted 187, but he's now starting to hit the long ball. So it's going to be interesting. It's primetime baseball. It's going to be on TBS tonight starting at 7:40 game time, first pitch. So it should be interesting. And again, now we'll see what happens. The Yankees against the Red Sox. And as I've needled my good friend Alex Hathaway and many other Boston Red Sox fans over at Del Lago, where I work part-time, He just got married, by the way. Congratulations goes out to Alex and his wife, just getting married, I believe, over the weekend. So he's a diehard Red Sox fan. And I needed him about the 108 wins, Jimmy, saying that if you don't win it all, you've underachieved. And that's the problem. So I think the pressure's on the Red Sox. We'll see what happens. Game time again, 7:40 tonight. We're looking forward to checking that one out. Well, Jimmy, let's flip up the slide on the old Giants. I got to be honest with you. I was flipping through the NFL yesterday on the boob tube when I got home from work, and I noticed that the Bills give them credit, even though I'm not a Bills fan. Christy McNichols, if anybody's watching and knows Christy, tell her the dog said a nice thing about the Bills. Give them credit. They had a last-second field goal to beat the Tennessee Titans. My good friend and my supervisor out of Del Lago, Keith Titan Bailey's not happy, I'm sure, as his Titans probably should not have lost to the Bills. But, hey, they were in Buffalo. You never know what's going to happen there. So that was a good game. But then I watched the Giant game back and forth, and Carolina, I think, was leading by 12 or 14 points. And lo and behold, I turned the game on, and the Giants took a 1-point lead or a 2-point lead with like a minute to go, one timeout. And here comes Carolina down the field. And, they were running out of timeouts, and all of a sudden, boom, there's 3 seconds going. And I'm looking at the spot on the field thinking to myself, they can't make a field goal from this distance. I don't even remember the guy's name that kicked it, Jimmy. I was so excited.
Graham
Gano comes out. And how long of a field goal is this, folks? Well, I find out it's 63-yarders going to attempt. And I'm thinking, 63-yarders, you got zero chance, even though these kickers are good. Don't ask the Green Bay Packer kicker, by the way.
How many times do you ever see a kicker kick like a 54-yarder that easily clears it?
I know.
I mean, these guys can kick that ball long enough. I mean, I think that he could. I think you're going to see a 68, 69, 70-yard field goal.
It's amazing.
Soon.
So at the last play of the game, they spot the ball. The kick is on his way, and I'm thinking, it's got a shot. It's got a chance. Bang.
Yeah,
through the uprights.
There's no doubt. As soon as he went out there, I knew he was making it.
And Carolina beats them.
For the Giants.
The Heartbreak Giants, and of course the big story in the New York paper. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to do it after the show today. Odell goes crazy in the locker room, and it was Jim. He just got a big contract. I don't know, a ton of money. It was all about him. And now you're wondering whether they should have re-signed him and gave him all that money, but the press is all over him like a cheap suit. Some people think he should get preferential treatment because he's a superstar, but that's not really a cohesive unit when you try to play football.
No, too many players on football. If the only guy that should get preferential treatment on a football team is a quarterback.
Yep.
Everybody else replaceable. Just look at Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh. They got James Conner running in his place, and Bell's down in Miami Beach relaxing. And
he's coming back though. He's coming back in the seventh game. No, seventh game.
When did they have?
Last week. No. They announced that he's coming back.
Jeez.
Game 7. So what do they play? They played 5 games so far now, or 6? Can't remember. Is this the 5th?
This was week 5.
So they got 2 more weeks. He'll be back. Yeah, he's coming back.
They don't need him.
Yeah. Well, the Steelers. Well, they played good yesterday. The Steelers played good. They beat somebody. And how about Kansas City, Jimmy?
Yeah,
they got to beat a powerhouse team. In the NFL.
Yeah, you think so. Let's see how they look at the end of the year. Andy Reid teams look really good in the regular season a lot.
Yeah, you're right.
By the time the postseason comes around. So
surprise Eagles lose at home against Minnesota.
Yeah, the same team. The Super Bowl champs lose at home to Minnesota after the Bills crush Minnesota in Minnesota. So how can you make sense of the NFL?
You can't. Yeah. My Raiders are not doing good. The Raiders are terrible.
John Gruden is
terrible. He's got a 10-year contract, so don't worry about him.
But he trades away Khalil Mack, and now all of a sudden they have no pass rush, and they can't win football games.
Isn't that Mack amazing, though?
Yeah, I can't understand how you would let a guy like that go.
Yeah,
it's just
scary.
The type of guy you need. Any defense needs a guy like that. Buffalo's own.
And how about Green Bay going into Detroit? Losing to Detroit.
Yeah, I can't make sense of the NFL. That's why the NFL's the best league. You look at the NBA, which is going to start here.
I know you get rolled on that.
You just give me. I can tell you. I can tell you who probably will win it all.
Golden State,
and then everybody else, and then I can tell you who will make the Final Four. Conference finals.
Yeah.
So what is the point?
You're right.
But in the NFL, and same thing with Major League Baseball, too. You didn't know going into the season if the Yanks were going to be good. You didn't know.
Milwaukee.
The Milwaukee, the Houston Astros last year. Yeah. You never know, and that's what makes sports interesting. And so the NFL, that's why it's the best league. Anybody can win it.
How about the Jets? They looked horrible a week ago. They looked good yesterday.
Yeah.
Jets
all
won
these
going
teams
away.
are in it. We'll see. It's going to be really interesting.
Let's give credit. Race. Let's give credit to the Browns.
Yeah, they're 2-2-1 now, right?
The Cleveland Browns.
2-2-1.
The team I used to pick on with all my Facebook friends. My buddy Charlie out there, who's a diehard Browns fan.
A lot of Browns fans around
here.
They
are.
A lot of Browns fans, a lot of Giants fans.
Jack Fiorelli.
Steelers fans.
Jack Fiorelli, big Browns fan. Yeah. A lot of Browns fans. It's weird. You think about Cleveland. I'm picking on all these Browns fans thinking they never win a game. And how about that kid quarterback?
Baker Mayfield,
Yeah. And, it's kind of weird, as you know, but my Raiders are hurting. So you could pick on me about my Raiders. I've been a Raider fan since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And they had some good years back when you could slam the quarterback down, Jimmy, when I used to watch them, and bury him in the ground and start brawls.
Stabler.
And by the way, get your opinion,
Jim.
What is your feeling about this roughing up the quarterback with their body on the quarterback?
I think that everybody will eventually adjust to it. It's not as fun to watch as
it isn't.
Seeing the quarterback get creamed,
No, it isn't.
But at the end of the day, do you want to watch, Aaron Rodgers against Peyton Manning or Eli Manning, or do you want to watch the two backups go at it? I mean, the NFL is not as star-driven a league as like the NBA,
right?
But those quarterbacks, are the calling cards.
They are,
and they're the most important player on the field. And they should be protected a little bit, but the calls against Clay Matthews just didn't seem right.
I agree with you on that.
It didn't seem right.
Yeah,
and a lot of these things, and then some of them that they call and they don't call it. It's tough.
Yeah,
but I know why they're doing it.
Yeah, I do too. And I gotta feel sorry for the defensive backs too, Jimmy, on the helmet scenario, because these guys are running 50 miles an hour to go after you,
so fast,
and boom, and you got your helmet misplaced, and it's going to hit them right in the other helmet, and gets tossed for the 15-yarder. I'm not saying that you should allow that. I mean, again, I'm aging myself, but I remember when they never called that. You could bury somebody.
You can't tell if it's intentional or not, so you got to call it every time.
Yeah,
it happens.
Exactly.
And like I say, people adjust, and it becomes part of a game and a part of the game. And nobody wants to see. People want to see guys get hit hard and crushed, but they don't want to see somebody taken off in a stretcher. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, remember that guy back in New England, right? The Patriot guy that got across the middle there.
Yeah, and I think it was Tatum was Oakland
Raider. Yeah, they did it.
Yeah,
they nailed him. Yeah. Hey, by the way, congratulations to the Miners Academy football program.
Yeah.
They had quite a year.
Yeah, I was at they won the league.
Quite a year.
Joe Carher's really done a good job of resurrecting that program. And last night we live streamed the Miners Academy Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and Coach Carher was speaking for his brother Dan, a former Miners coach who got inducted last night, and it was pretty cool, and he got a rousing round of applause from everybody on the season.
That's
and the win against Dundee the other night, which secured the league title for them. So we'll see what they do now in sectionals.
That's right, and you're right. To all those fine kids at Miners Academy that had a great year, congratulations from the Weber Show and from all of us here at FingerLakes1.com. The dog won't be here next week. Jimmy's going to try to figure out bringing somebody in or maybe work it out to fill in these shoes, which is not hard to do, folks, but he'll do a capable job, as we always know he will. You guys take care, everybody. Enjoy your week. Again, we're talking 80s the next couple of days. Then we're going down to the 50s. And as my wife said this morning, no wonder we all get sick. 80s, 50s. For Jim Senecrobe, this is the dog. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.